Bitcoin had one of the worst weekly candles in its history. Speculation for global economy is not good, just not the US economy, but everything in general. So there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of fear by retailers on the macro scale of not Bitcoin, not crypto, not stocks, but everything else that regards the economic life in general in our planet. So a lot of uncertainty that trickled down to crypto, and we end up with having one of the worst drops on a weekly time frame for Bitcoin. So that being said, let's take a look to everything crypto related, a little bit on what happened on the summit, and then we're going to analyze some data together in today's video. So stay tuned. So folks, we are here on the copy trading for the topics. A lot of people are having a lot of fun with this. We are 504 people so far in the 0DT, 290 in the Phoenix strategy. So 0DT so far in March has paid 1.06%. That is fantastic returns. Of course, people get a little bummed when they look to the historical data since October, November, December. It kept going down. January being a very good month, but everything else is going down a little bit. Of course, we're taking precautious steps here because we want to keep a successful win rate rather than just making a ton of money a month and then losing in the next month. So it's better to do things steady, and then when the market flips again, when the market starts to become better, we can try to maybe get a better yield out of it. But so far we are positive. We haven't had any negative months in the copy trading strategy, which is for some of us a miracle that we hadn't seen losses. It's not that we haven't seen losses, but the monthly, the month over month has always been good. If you look at the charts, we had some losses right here. You see a loss right here, a loss right here, a dip right here. These dips right here are days where we lost some money into the copy trading, but overall you can see that we always tend to go up, and it's almost a very straight diagonal line from top to bottom. So it is a very good place for you to store your USDC while we wait for this market to correct, to figure out what it wants to do. So the first link in the description will take you right here to the topics where you can deposit your USDC or USDT and put it into the copy trading strategy. That being said, let's take a look at the prices today. So we have Bitcoin below 83,000 at 82,868, Ethereum at 21.13. We also have XRP that fell a lot. Now we are at 219 on that. BNB again below 600 at 565. Solana 128. Cardano is at 74 cents, with Dogecoin being at 17 cents. So that being said, the fear and greed index has gone down back to extreme fear, and the altcoin season is nowhere to be seen. As I said, March tends to be a good month, and it has been doing so for the past 4 or 5 years now on Bitcoin. But looking at charts and looking at the macro, this could be the first month that it doesn't perform well at all. So our hope is that we break even, maybe just a little bit of a loss, instead of having a huge price tank into our beloved cryptocurrencies. So let's talk a little bit about the summit that started on Friday inside the White House itself, and Saylor was actually one of the people present there, and he actually revealed and suggested that the US followed a $100 trillion crypto plan. And this strategy pretty much consists into buying Bitcoin almost a quarter of the whole supply by 2035. So between 5 and 25% of the whole amount of Bitcoin available right now. Saylor says just buy it, be minority owner of every Bitcoin in the planet. And then to have different assets, different classes right here inside this plan. So the first one is for digital tokens. Then we have digital securities, digital currencies, and digital commodities. So the digital tokens would be those governance tokens, those protocol tokens, and things like that. So for example, Curve, for example, Uni, Aave, all of these tokens, they fall into this category. Then we have the securities. Now we have a little bit of debate. What is a security? What is a commodity? So the SEC has been actually going at it with a lot of projects to define what is a security, what is a commodity. For example, Bitcoin is considered a commodity by anyone that is in crypto space. Now for Ethereum and other coins, people are still debating whether they are securities or commodities. And we're not going to get into this war because it is a fight that when you start, it has no real winners. Everyone is a loser when it comes to debate, whether things are one or the other. I have my personal opinions, but I don't think it will be fair to share them right here. But then we have the digital currencies that could be USDT, USDC, digital euro, or British pound, whatever that is, even digital real. Maybe the BRICS will launch a digital currency. You could be using that as a digital currency asset, and that will create a huge reserve of value for the United States to protect not only from within but also from the outside. So against outside factors and against inside factors like inflation, for example. And that will be a job for Bitcoin, which so far it hasn't been performing very well if you take in consideration that it is pretty much following the stock market, following economic flows. So that reserve of value is a little bit overreacted, overused as a term, because Bitcoin has been kind of following along with the S&P, following along with the prices of things and the stock market as a whole. So we would have to wait and see, but this was just a suggestion. This was a plan proposed by Saylor inside the summit, amongst other things, amongst other people that were there. So there were representatives or even CEOs for companies like Coinbase, Ripple, Kraken, Gemini, Chainlink, Robinhood, and many other people inside. We've covered in the last video that we had a lot of people invited, guests that were not confirmed, guests that were confirmed. So it was a huge event for crypto folks and the crypto space as a whole. So before we jump into other news, let's take a look at liquidations, for example, because in the past 24 hours, over $600 million got liquidated. That means wiped from the market, clean away from these traders' wallets. And that was $644 million. And the majority of these were longs. So 75.88% of these positions were longs that were liquidated, meaning that people were betting that it was going to go up, and it actually went down and down so much that their position got liquidated because it went below the threshold for the margin. So this is what a liquidation means. So let's take a look a little bit at the charts. Let's analyze Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana, which are the biggest ones, and what we have to offer here for you to trade options on Bitopics. So if you want to trade options on any of these three assets, you can do that on Bitopics. You can short them, you can long them, you can even sell them to make passive income out of it, as we have been seeing. But be careful, those come with a risk, so make sure you understand that before you jump into options. But when we jump into the super charts right here, you can see that Ethereum isn't looking good. Everton, why is it not looking good? Because we tested and we went right through it on the weekly. This first blue line that you see right here, we went through it like it was nothing, like it was butter. We touched the bottom of the Bollinger, now we're bouncing back, and now this number became a little bit of a ceiling that we have to go through because it was a strong place of interest. It was a strong range of interest for Ethereum before November, when we started that little rally. So now we have to wait to see if we're going to have some momentum. Spoiler alert, in my opinion, we're not going to have that momentum. We most likely are going to touch the 22 or 2300, and then we're going to see a flip again. We're not going to make higher highs. For example, higher highs would mean that we're going to go up and we're going to go above the current level right here. So meaning that we're going to go and then test it, make higher highs, higher lows, and then go back up. This is not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to happen. And instead, I believe that we're going to get maybe back to the 2300s and then go down. If we switch to the daily, you can see that we touched the bottom of the Bollinger, went up once again. Then right here, we could test this middle range right here of the Bollinger, which we maybe not even get to that if we lose momentum right here, and then tank back down. And if we lose this price, this range right here, going back to the weekly, guess what? The next place of action right here will be at around 1600, 1590, 1600. This would be a place of interest where we're going to have some interest right here in this range. If we go below that, then we're going to be looking at the low $1,000 for Ethereum. So very, very sad, very, very ridiculous numbers that we haven't seen since what, 2021? So not so good for Ethereum by looking at the charts right here. If we switch to Bitcoin, we're still above the next place of interest, which is around the $70,000. Last video, I actually showed you a projection that $69 will be the lowest that Bitcoin can go in the cycle, and it was a pretty accurate interpretation that has worked in the past for the $10,000 range for Bitcoin. So that is in the last video if you want to check it out. And here we actually have two important things. The first one is that this is the range right here, the $70,000. This is the next support for Bitcoin in the worst case scenario. And here we also have the $76,000 as another place of interest, place of support, because it is the bottom of the Bollinger right here. And the Bollinger is starting to slow down, to close up, you see. And when it closes up, it usually closes up, carries a little bit, and then it explodes towards a direction. You can see right here, it funnels up and then it explodes towards the direction, and right here it funnels back up again, and once the funnel has been going sideways for quite a while, it bursts. So maybe right now we're gonna have a consolidation period right here, which if we keep this range, we will be inside the $80,000 range for Bitcoin. If we switch to the daily, we see that we also went to the bottom of the Bollinger. We went to oversold territory right here for quite a while, and now we're just holding it on, waiting to maybe look for this point of control right here for volume around the 96. 96, a very far-fetched number, so that is not a target for us, especially not right now. If we'd start to see higher highs and higher lows, we could be looking at $92,000. But again, there's nothing that shows bullish strength in the daily or in the weekly. So again, the $90,000 is more feasible, is more doable, since it is the average right here. It is a moving average right here and close to the halfway of the Bollinger Bands. So maybe we'll see 88, maybe we'll see 89, who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on these weeklies and dailies to see how it performs this week. But whenever we have a very bad week, the next one tends to be a little better. So even because we went way below the price, like we had the worst green candle ever, pretty much, most likely we are going to correct at least to the 86, touch 86, touch 87. Then who knows if we're going to lose that momentum and fall back down, look for the 76, look for the 77. But so far, we could be seeing a good at least Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we will have to check back on Wednesday to see if what I'm saying ended up working or not. For Solana, actually, we have also a point of interest right here at 115, 120, which goes back to the beginning of 2024. This was a point of interest right here because it tested quite a few times. And then once it broke through that, we used it as a support for a little bit. So could be bouncing back into this right now. The Bollinger here is very open, so it's not shrinking like we saw on Bitcoin. So we could still see a lot of movement right here, up and down maybe, but bullish case for us would be see it bouncing back in this range right here, bouncing, holding. It means that this price range is going to be a very strong support in the future. But looking at the order book heat map right here, we can see that we have a cluster of orders right here around the $75,000, which is the price range that I mentioned before, the 76, 75, 77. So you can see that it starts right here at 76 and it goes all the way to the 72. So this could be an interesting point to look for Bitcoin. Who knows if we're going to touch, because we also have some cluster of orders right here at the 95 and very, very far-fetched orders here back at the $105,000. Crazy to have orders right here, but they are here nonetheless. So before we end the video, we have right here an article that I advise you to read. It goes a little bit other than Bitcoin. It goes into macro economy for everything stocks related, finance related. It is really good because it shows that we have important data from CPI to jobs this week. Yes, CPI and PPI are due, and this is very scary for the US, and that could reflect into crypto, that could reflect into global markets as well. And it gets a little bit more in detail than what we said. So I'm not going to be here just reading through this, but you can check it out on Cointelegraph. So hopefully this will be a good week for us. I hope this is at least a little bit green for us. My bet would be to open spreads to keep these ranges. And if we stay inside these ranges, or if you want to go a short spread, or if you want to go a little bit risky to go above a certain price range, then we could be making some money out of it. So this will end today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and it was insightful. If you like what we're doing, please just take 1 second. This is all it takes. Scroll down a little bit, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss next videos here when we post it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So thank you very much. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for another video. Peace.